Sun up, sun down.
When it comes to communicating a time frame to a customer or a colleague, you have decisions to make about how to describe it. For example, should you tell them they have 5 days to do something or tell them they have until Friday? This matters because it can change what they buy and whether they complete the task on time. Hi, I'm Bri Williams, the Behaviour Changer, and it's time to talk about time. In this video, I'll be answering 3 questions. Should you use days of the week when you are describing a deadline? So is it better to say it's due on the 10th of February or Tuesday, the 10th of February? Should you use dates at all? For example, are you better to say it's due in 6 days rather than the 10th of February? And what units of time are better to use? Should we use 14 days rather than 2 weeks, for example? To get your time frames right, just do this. Framing time. Adding the day of the week to something can impact how people react. Let's imagine you were telling a customer how long their delivery will take. You can either say it will be delivered on the 10th of February or it will be delivered on the Tuesday, the 10th of February. Now, more information is better, right? It's helpful for them to know which day the 10th of February is. Not so fast. When we add a day of the week, it cues us to think in terms of a shorter duration. That might seem like a good thing. When it comes to deliveries, shorter is better, right? The problem is how people use the days to evaluate the length of time between when they've ordered and when their product will be delivered. If they order on Monday, Tuesday doesn't seem too bad. If they order on a Wednesday, Tuesday seems a long way away. Days of the week can make the gap seem longer than had only dates been used. That means that whenever we want to diminish the perception of how long something will take, we should avoid including the day of the week. This would likewise apply whenever you want to drive urgency, like an approaching deadline for an event or ticket sales. If we add the days of the week, people will think they have longer to do a task and therefore be more likely to put it off. It's not due till Tuesday. I have heaps of time. When to use days of the week? There are times it's a good idea to use days of the week though, particularly when you want your customer to perceive something as lengthy. Perhaps they are renting a house from you or a car. Let's say you're a travel agent, for example. Telling your customers they will be staying from Monday the 9th of February to Sunday the 15th of February will feel more expensive than simply listing the dates the 9th and the 15th of February. Okay, so that covers off when we should or shouldn't use days of the week. But are we better to give a date at all, like the 10th of February, or instead use a number of days, like 7? Number of days versus the date. Deciding between using the date or number of days as a deadline depends on how much urgency you want people to feel. It's all about momentum. Dates like the 10th of February seem stationary. The date is there, predestined in your diary, and we move towards it. By contrast, stating a number of days like 5 or 7 is dynamic. It moves. It was 5 days yesterday, 4 days today, and 3 days tomorrow. This means it feels like it's moving towards us. When something is moving towards us, it feels threatening. And when something feels threatening, we act to make it stop. College students, for example, were more likely to start their assignment when given a number of days rather than a date. Let's look at a real-life example from a domain provider who was trying to get me to renew a domain with them. It has all the hallmarks of an urgent notice with this and cancellation as headers. They've used a deadline date here, the 5th of March. But according to the urgency to act research, they would have been better to have said I had 6 days to act instead. Smaller units of time. Right, so now we know we are usually best to leave the day of the week out of the message, and the number of days is better at driving urgency than a deadline date. So when it comes to describing how much time people have to do something, is it better to focus on the units of time, like hours, days, and weeks, or the number of those units, like 24 hours, 1 day, or 2 weeks? Well, that's what I share with members of my Just Do This program. In Just Do This, I show you exactly how to apply behavioural science to everyday business issues like pricing, sales, and staff performance. You get over 60 instructional videos, a podcast, templates, scripts, and live sessions with me. And you even get the rest of this video in which I share when to focus on the units of time and when to focus on the number instead. Find out more at briwilliams.com.